everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gita Mary, and recently I posted on Instagram asking you guys if you had any sustainability hot takes, any unpopular opinions about zero waste, veganism, sustainability, conscious living, etc. And you guys did not disappoint. Right now it's Saturday morning, it's like 8:30, and I thought what better way to kickstart my weekend plans than to react to some serious hot takes. Let's do this. We're having a cozy time. The first one kills me. Low-waste deodorants are so bad. So overall, there are lots of products that work for me, and there are lots of products that really does not work for me. So, like this experience of having these sustainable products not work the way you thought they would work. So that's completely fair. I found a couple of deodorants that I like. The one from Zero Waste Puff I like, the one from Wild, and the one from Native. If you have any good recommendations or have low waste deodorants you have tried, leave them down below as a comment. But it's okay to feel like they suck too. That's fine. Luckily, it's not small products and your ability to like the small products that define your relationship with sustainability. So we don't need another sustainable startup to do etc. But the big companies need to change. So I half agree with this one actually. I think we always need innovation, and we get a lot of innovation from startups. Usually also what happens is that a startup company introduces either new technology or new ways of thinking, and if it spreads or if it has good applicability in the world of business they're operating in, lots of bigger companies will buy them out or will sort of adapt their business models as well. That happens all the time. But I do see where you're coming from. We don't need a lot of small starters when we have bigger companies, and the impact they can have is a lot bigger, so they should be the ones changing. But I think two things can happen at the same time. I don't like PETA. I am a vegan out of ideology. I get that. I definitely understand. I also don't like PETA. There's actually a lot of the outreach type of activism that I really dislike, and I think is a huge disservice to both environmentalism and veganism, etc. The types of protests or events where you just make information available, I think is great. But as soon as it becomes a happening, there was this one happening not very long ago, was posted on TikTok, where activists went into a supermarket in London and poured milk out on the floor, sort of to symbolize that milk is, I don't know, but that's such an ineffective way of communicating your message, and I think it does more harm than good. Overall, I got a lot of these unpopular opinions related to outreach activism. A lot of people seem to think it has the opposite result of the intention. I agree. I think it creates a bigger gap between people that hasn't looked at or reflected on their consumption of animal products or whatever other type of product the protest is about, and the people wanting to educate. I think it creates a bigger gap or a bigger divide between these two, and I think it's a lot less likely that people will listen. And I think PETA knows what they're doing. I think they're doing all of this intentionally, and I think that is infuriating. Okay, it's getting hot in here. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you like outreach or happening activism protests, or don't you? Veganism can sometimes lead to eating disorders. Yeah, every type of restrictive diet or lifestyle can lead to disordered eating. It's not an opinion, it's just straight fact. I did a video a while ago, I'll link it down below, about diet culture and veganism, how to sort of get rid of that food guilt, and I've struggled with EDs as well, also whilst being vegan. So we're navigating that space definitely, but if you are prone to any type of disordered eating, I would be really careful restricting my diet, and I would do it very gradually, normalizing, making sure you have the proper nutrients, making sure you can make dishes so you don't end up eating nothing. The things that is really close to my heart. So yeah, it bothers me a lot. I also have a video about body shaming in veganism, also leave that down below. Okay, it's legit to buy from fast fashion when you don't find your size and cannot afford sustainable brands. Saying something is legit or not, overall I agree with the sentiment, but I think it's very important to not let both zero waste, sustainability, or the slow fashion movement feel like something in your life that dictates what to do. I think we should adjust our behavior whenever possible. And if it isn't possible, like a situation you might be describing here, obviously you can always start with looking secondhand. I love Facebook Marketplace and other types of Depop, ThredUp, etc. because you can search for sizes, and that makes it more available. It means that you don't have to scour through thrift shops if you need specific things. I would always do that before going out and buying a new product of any kind. I would always just search what's nearby me? Is anyone in my local area trying to get rid of the one thing I'm trying to find? And often that actually happens. So overconsumption is the biggest issue. If you need new clothes constantly and all the time, you're not consuming it consciously, you're not consuming it sustainably, and that's an issue, and no one has the right to overconsume. But if it's like your daily needs are not being met with sustainable fashion, of course. Being vegan is only sustainable in the West. Where I live, local meat products are greener than vegan. I think there is an opinion here, and I think there's something that sounds like a fact that we would need more information about, obviously, in order for me to say if that's true or not, because I can't say if that's true based on just that. I would say, however, I don't agree with the fact that veganism is easier in the West. It depends on what you see as veganism, because if veganism to you is like Beyond Meat sausage and like vegan burgers, obviously there is a higher availability of that in the West, because like these products are often Western products, but veganism is so much more than that, and a lot of cultures throughout history around the world has been plant-based. And I think this speaks into a broader commercialization of veganism. Tired of all healthy plastic-free stuff. Give me the full-fat sugar snacks plastic-free too. I hear you. This went directly to my soul. I think there is a delightful overlap between sustainable and healthy. I think that happens all the time. But I love snacks and sugar, and I'm so happy that in Denmark we have like bulk aisles with sweets in basically every grocery store, so you can always get bulk sweets, and it's like the bad ones. It's not like the date-based fake snacks, it's the actual sweets. I definitely agree with this one for sure. Zero waste makeup doesn't work, and after 5 seconds you have the perfect panda look. I have definitely tried zero waste makeup products that didn't work out as great as I had hoped. That being said, I use primarily low waste, low impact makeup now, and it lasts all day, which is amazing. But mascara is also one of the things actually that I have ended up compromising a lot on in terms of packaging. So I would much rather have something that is a little bit more packaged and then a little bit better formula, because I've done like the solid mascaras for a long time, and yeah, they are definitely more prone to smudge than Elate, for instance, like the Elate or the Sao. Vegan pastries and cakes are not as good as the non-vegan ones, how dare you! Personally, I have had some bomb vegan pastries, like some actually bomb vegan pastries. Shout out to Kaf in Copenhagen that makes the amazingest cakes in all the land. So I have had amazing vegan pastries, which to me means that it's possible to make them. But I think you can make a bad pastry, and I think you can make a bad pastry both that's vegan and that also isn't vegan. I think bad pastries is a universal experience, but it's definitely easier to make a good pastry with all the ingredients that we've been using for the last few hundred years. So I wouldn't say that inherently vegan pastries are always worse. They aren't. There just isn't a lot of people specializing in them, which means that the average experience of vegan pastries is subpar. I'm sad that you haven't had a good one yet though. That beeswax paper is the yuckiest, worst thing to use. I used to like them more, but over time I've started to like them less. So I definitely relate to the disdain in this voice. Instead of turning to influencers, we should turn to our grandmothers as examples on how to live sustainably. No, I don't think we should do that. Primarily because not everyone has grandmothers to turn to. I have grandmothers to turn to, and they are nifty. They are nifty queens, both of them. And I've actually gotten a lot of really cool tips from them. So if you have a grandmother or a grandfather, or anyone in your family, anyone really that has a lot of experience, turn to them, obviously. But I think a lot of people need someone else to turn to. I think a lot of people don't have family members or friends or like even like a real life network of people that can help them be sustainable. And I say that because I get a lot of DMs from people that can only turn to me. So some people has to turn to influencers, I guess. And I think this is also one of those things where something can be true and then something else can also be true at the same time. So we can turn to influencers if need be, and we can also turn to our family members if we have any. that wants to help us. Sustainability isn't accessible to everyone anywhere. I think that depends on what you think sustainability means. So overall, I don't agree with this statement. But if what you mean by that is we don't have access to farmers markets or bulk shops or eco shops everywhere in the world, then I agree. We don't. But sustainability is so much more than that. Sustainability is using the things you already have. It's repairing, it's regrowing, it's regenerative, it's all these small habits that you perhaps you don't even think that that's sustainability, but it is sustainability. Maintaining your clothes so they last longer, that's sustainability. Having a garden compost, that's sustainability. Trying to buy plastic free, not always succeeding, but doing the darndest best you can, that's sustainability. Going thrift shopping, that's sustainability. Using packaging like plastic packaging, cutting up bottles and using them for different various chores in your house, that's also sustainability. It's just a matter of what we think constitutes sustainability. And I refuse to let my definition of sustainability be based on products we can buy. It's a state of mind, it's a mindset, and it's a philosophy that we apply every time we can. And that everyone can do. Fuck zero waste toothpaste. The obsession with clean eating in so many zero waste spaces, it's diet culture repackaged. Living completely zero waste is only for people with a lot of privilege and no other problems. If you're successful in living actually 100% completely without generating waste, you probably don't have a lot of other things to do. Honey shouldn't be thrown into the bad animal exploitation category. We'd be screwed without. I disagree. I half disagree. So the thing is with honey is that it depends a lot on the industry. But the main takeaway that I think is important to remember when it comes to honey is that there are thousands of species of wild bees. There are thousands of different species. There are not thousands of species of honeybees. So in industrial production of honey, we use a very limited number of species. We use like 2 or 3 different species of honeybees, to my knowledge. And what happens when a large population of bees are the same? First of all, in biodiversity, they completely kill off the other types of bees. There's also the notion that when something happens, a disease, for instance, happens to a species of bees, that's a big problem. If we have replaced thousands of different species with a couple of species of bees, so we run into the potential of having all of these bees die on us. It's monoculture that's really the problematic part of honey production for the most part. We have created a very, very fragile ecosystem that can very easily fall apart if something happens. Not everyone trying to live sustainably can enjoy a slow lifestyle. Like, boo, I'm in a rush. Oh, I felt that. Beef farming is well regulated in some countries, runs and hides. There are some land issues, there are some CO2 and methane emission issues, and there are some water issues that we can't really get around because that's just what it requires to create beef. That being said, I'm pretty certain that, yeah, the regulation of this industry varies a lot from country to country. I think it does. I think in Denmark, just drawing some personal experiences, in Denmark we say that we have like some of the best agriculture in the world, some of the best livestock production, etc. And it's really damn awful still. Regulation might differ and might be better some places in the world. Is it so good that it offsets the impact? No. The zero in zero waste may be toxic. Yeah, if you focus too much on the zero in zero waste. At this point in time, I've worked so much with my own association of what zero waste means that I don't really think about the zero in zero waste in that way, but I really did in the beginning. So if it helps to say low waste, less waste, etc., if that helps your journey, I think you should do that because the perfectionism in the zero in zero waste can definitely be, yeah, toxic. Plastic is a groundbreaking material, we just use it inappropriately. I absolutely agree with this one. There's so many really practical applications for plastic, but the average amount of time we use plastic is 12 minutes. So there's a lot of disposable items that we create in plastic because it's easy and convenient and we don't need to. I don't think it's right to demonize the material overall, but I think it's right to question or criticize the use of that material. Not all plastic is bad. Durable plastic can last you decades, as my mom's kitchen. Oh yeah. I don't like the highly processed mock meat. Beyond Meat makes me feel ill. It's too realistic. That's completely fair. Like, you are allowed to not like something. For people that didn't stop eating meat because they didn't like meat, it's amazing to have realistic substitutes. Like, I love realistic substitutes, but it's not everyone's jam, and that's fine. Why do they take fluoride out of low waste toothpaste? They don't always do that actually, but yeah, a lot of the like natural sustainable toothpaste are also fluoride free, and I don't use fluoride free toothpaste. I use the Din taps, and they also come with fluoride, and I think Smile also has some taps that are with fluoride, and I exclusively use fluoride too. Don't like when the vegan community tries to take a bluntly unhealthy item and tries veganizing it, like ranch. I love when the vegan community does that actually, so I disagree with this one. I think there are plenty of motivations to be vegan. Health is not a universal factor in veganism. I love being able to have all the shitty unhealthy foods that I was able to enjoy before going vegan, and it actually makes me stay vegan. It enables me to keep being vegan because I don't have to give up all these things. I think it comes back to the thing I mentioned with the restrictive diet. So if we didn't have all these substitutes, being vegan would not only mean refusing animal products and everything that entails, it would also mean giving up all the dishes that you know, all the ways of cooking that you're familiar with, all the flavors that you're familiar with, and only have whole foods. I think that would mean that a lot less people would go vegan, for sure. And a lot more people would develop problems with eating from veganism. I think that it creates a way of being more balanced in your veganism. It enables you to have more options. If you don't like those options, that's fair. Like, if you don't like vegan ranch, that's fair. But I think it's important to acknowledge the benefits that it has, that we are able to get these things as well. It might not be beneficial to you, but to so many other people, these are the reasons why we stay vegan, because we can do the things we want to do ideologically, whilst also maintaining experiences and enjoying flavors that we like. I really dislike when we shame out the junk foods in the vegan community, because that also creates a toxic relationship with food for a lot of people. If something is not for you, I think that's amazing, but criticizing or being against the existence of these products, I think results in a lot less people going vegan. Vegan products should stop imitating animal products. So this is a little bit in the same context, but I have a slightly different answer to this one, because also no, I disagree with this one. Firstly, because the meat industry does not own shapes or flavors, even experiences of food. No animal comes in a nugget shaped form. No animal comes in a sausage shape. We alter the meat to make it look like this, and you can alter other types of food to look like this as well. And I think there's also a communicative aspect to this as well, actually. So the thing is, when we say something is a vegan sausage or a vegan steak, we are not saying this is exactly like the meat. This is not what's happening. What we are saying is that we're communicating how to use these foods, because we know what to do with steak, we know what to do with sausage. Do we know what to do with weird soy lump? No, but we know if something is called a sausage, we suddenly have the options, we suddenly have a lot of past experiences to draw on and apply in the current situation. We don't have that with soy lumps, soy thingies, lentil babbity booms. We don't have necessarily the same experiences to draw on. So I think the reason why a lot of mock meats are imitating meat is for the communicative aspect, and also because a lot of people are not going vegan because they dislike meat. They just really disagree with how it's produced or why it's produced. From a personal experience, I cannot tell you how excited I am that I can take vegan sausages to a barbecue with my family or to like holidays, because Danish food is often very meat heavy, and the fact that I have mock meats that I can bring and make similar dishes to what everyone else is eating, also one of the things that makes me want to stay vegan, because I'm able to do that. So again, I think it's important when we talk about mock meats and substitute, is that if we don't like them, we say, I don't personally like them, but that we at the same time acknowledge that they might be really crucial to a lot of other people. Kids shouldn't be forced to be vegan. Let them have an educated choice. So I think that we force our children to do what we do, no matter the ideology. If forcing your children to be vegan by raising them in a vegan household, we also force children to eat meat. Because that's what parents do, especially in the very early stages of childhood. Like, we force our ideology on our children because we raise them with our ideology. Forcing is just a negatively charged word, but what we do is that we do to them what we think is the best. And that was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you liked it. If you have any more hot takes, leave them down below. Let's talk about them together. I hope that you liked this video. I've left some resources down below so you can check it out, some of the things I referenced. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day and take really good care of yourselves. Until next time, bye. I'll continue with my weekend now. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green, zero-waste content, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!